the anterior pituitary is regulated by the hypothalamus. So in this picture, we can see here's the hypothalamus, and then this is the anterior pituitary. And the way that the hypothalamus controls the anterior pituitary is through hormones. Because remember that the anterior pituitary is a collection of epithelial cells that originated from the roof of the mouth. And so even though the proximity of the anterior pituitary is very close to the hypothalamus, the only way that the hypothalamus has to exert control over the anterior pituitary is this anatomic connection of the blood supply. So we can see this is the hypophyseal portal system. It's a capillary bed that is in the hypothalamus. There's a group of neurons within the hypothalamus that secrete hormones that carry the name releasing or inhibiting hormone in the name. And those hormones circulate to a second capillary bed surrounding the anterior pituitary. And so that blood flow connection is what's known as the hypophyseal portal system. So the hypothalamus regulates secretion from the anterior pituitary using hormones called releasing hormones or inhibiting hormones. So I made a chart to try to put this together, showing what releasing and inhibiting hormones are coming from the hypothalamus in the first column. And so you can see in all of the names of these hormones, the RH is releasing hormone and the IH is inhibiting hormone. And so that's always a good hint about the origin of the hormone and also even the target. So if you ever hear of a releasing or an inhibiting hormone, it's coming from the hypothalamus and it's targeting the anterior pituitary. So the anterior pituitary is composed of epithelial cells that originated from the roof of the mouth, and there are 5 different cell types which I listed here, and I matched them up with the hypothalamic hormones that they respond to. So let's just take a quick look at this. So gonadotropin releasing hormone, or GnRH, is going to come from the hypothalamus, circulate to the anterior pituitary, cause a cell type called gonadotropes to secrete the hormones LH and FSH. LH and FSH then go to the gonads and cause secretion of hormones from the gonads like estrogen or testosterone. Thyrotropin releasing hormone, TRH, targets cell types called thyrotropes in the anterior pituitary, and the thyrotropes release the hormone TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone then circulates to the thyroid and stimulates the thyroid to release thyroid hormones T3 and T4. Corticotropic releasing hormone, CRH, causes the corticotropes of the anterior pituitary to release the hormone adrenocorticotropic hormone, or ACTH. ACTH targets the adrenal cortex, in particular the zona fasciculata, causing release of cortisol from the adrenal cortex. And so these hormones at the top of the chart, these are what are known as tropic hormones. The anterior pituitary hormones are tropic hormones because you can think of them as part of a chain reaction. In other words, the anterior pituitary hormones are going to target another endocrine gland, and that endocrine gland is then going to secrete hormones. That's very different from the bottom of this chart. So notice that at the bottom of this chart, I have 2 hormones that are both have releasing hormones and inhibiting hormones. So there's a prolactin releasing hormone, which would stimulate release of the hormone prolactin from the anterior pituitary. And then there's also a prolactin inhibiting hormone that would turn off prolactin secretion from the anterior pituitary. Prolactin stimulates milk production by the mammary glands. So it stimulates breast milk production. Growth hormone releasing hormone, GHRH, turns on the somatotropes, causes them to release a hormone called growth hormone, which also has direct effects in the body. Growth hormone is going to stimulate growth, just like it sounds like, stimulate growth of the skeleton, muscle, cartilage, and other changes too. So growth hormone inhibiting hormone would turn growth hormone secretion off. And so these hormones, prolactin and growth hormone, are not tropic hormones. So to summarize, tropic hormones only have releasing hormones at the level of the hypothalamus. The releasing hormone will circulate to the anterior pituitary, cause release of an anterior pituitary hormone, which then will target an endocrine gland, causing release of another hormone that has an effect in the body. So those are the tropic hormones, LH, FSH, TSH, and ACTH. The other two, prolactin and growth hormone, prolactin, both have releasing and inhibiting hormones. So the releasing hormone turns secretion on, inhibiting hormone will inhibit secretion. Prolactin, stimulating milk production by the mammary glands. And then growth hormone, releasing hormone and inhibiting hormone, controlling release of growth hormone from the anterior pituitary, which also has more direct effects in the body.